Trump's surge may come at the expense of Jeb Bush. After all, he was the expected frontrunner, the family name, national prominence, and a massive war chest. He also points out he has the luxury of time. Listen to Mr. Bush dismiss the poll showing Trump pulling away.
Oh, I'm so worried. No, this long haul.
But should Bush be worried? A new CNN ORC poll shows Trump has a massive lead over Bush in winning the trust of his party. 36% more Republican voters trust Trump on the economy, and a similar number trust him more on dealing with illegal immigration. Trump even leads on fighting ISIS and on social issues. So let's talk about that. With me now, CNN national political reporter Maeve Reston, and in Charlottesville, Larry Sabato. He's the director for the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Thanks for being here. So Mr. Bush was supposed to be the man to beat, but I bet he never thought Donald Trump would be his nemesis. Larry, should Jeb Bush be worried?
Well, he should be worried, but not just about Donald Trump. You know, there are two things operating here. One is the Trump surge, and the other is the recognition, somewhat belatedly by some people, of the burdens and baggage that Jeb Bush is carrying because of his last name and because of other things. So there are two things operating here. Isolate Trump for a minute. Carol, I've said a million times over many presidential cycles that polls this early are sandcastles right at the edge of the seashore. And inevitably, there will be big waves that will sweep them away. We're months away from the start of the voting, and we're a year and 2.5 months ahead of the election.
But there are signs that Jeb's Bush camp or supporters of Jeb Bush are worried. Look, Jeb Bush has raised more than $100 million. There's a PAC out there. It's put $10 million into ads for Jeb Bush. I'd like you to watch one right now.
Mr. Trump's language is divisive. I want to win. We're not going to win by doing what Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton do each and every day, dividing the country.
So, Maeve, will that do it for Jeb Bush?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot more of those kinds of ads coming up. And the thing to remember here, to Larry's point, is that a lot of voters out there don't know much about Jeb Bush or, frankly, any of these other candidates. I was at the Iowa State Fair over the weekend with Bush, and a lot of people actually came up to him and talked about how much they loved his family, his father, his brother. But then sometimes he would meet them and walk on, and they'd say, I'm still deciding between Trump or Bush or Rubio, you know, a cast of, 5 different candidates. And I think that's the thing that we really have to watch here is how is Bush going to seal the deal? I mean, beyond the money, he's very well versed on policy. People like that about him. He's the adult in the room, as people like to say. And they think that over time that will wear well with voters once the kind of pop and flash of the Trump candidacy loses its novelty. So I think that's what we really need to watch. And to Larry's point, there are other candidates who are kind of getting into Jeb's space as well. You look at someone like John Kasich, for example, who's been rising in the polls, another big state governor who's got a long proven track record, who's very on the stump and is connecting easily with voters. And so I think that's what Jeb Bush's hurdles are going to be in the coming weeks. And I think a lot of this, to Larry's point, will be changing over the next couple of debates as we see how Trump performs in the long run.
Yeah, but Jeb Bush's performance in that first debate, Larry, it was flat. He doesn't have really any flash to him at all. Don't you need that to win the presidency?
Well, I think you need more energy than he showed, that's for sure. That was an unimpressive performance in my view. It was acceptable. It got him through the debate, but that was about it. But, the point being made here, I think, is very important, especially for Iowa and New Hampshire. There's that old prototypical Iowa voter who's asked, have you made up your mind yet? And she answers, well, no, I've only met the candidates 3 times apiece. They're still shopping. And they expect to see a lot of the candidates They're going to change their mind from day to day, and especially in Iowa and particularly New Hampshire, you can have massive changes in the last 48 hours. They're famous for this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And maybe just a last thought for you, because maybe what voters really want Donald Trump to do is test the other candidates, and that's why they like him at the moment.
Yeah, well, I think that's
a very good point.
You do see that a lot. You hear that from voters as well, saying, I want to see more from Governor Bush. I'm not seeing enough passion yet. One of the voters said to me, he really needs to get his ball rolling. Like, I could support him, but I want him to project the kind of strength that Donald Trump is right now. And, you know, to the extent that Trump can push candidates like Bush to do more of that and really test their candidacies this early, that's probably a good thing for them.
All right.